I'm heading to Dallas-Fort Worth, and while I've had to leave my boots behind, I'm stepping back into time as I visit the stockyards. I'll learn a little about the city's past and why it's linked to a day that forever changed American history. If we haven't met before, I'm Allison, and I love creating a variety of content. Sometimes I bring you along on my travels as a flight attendant, and other times we stay closer to home as I cook up some comedy in the kitchen. Don't waste the sun is my motto, and I'd love to have you all come along. So like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification at the top of the page.
We headed to Dallas-Fort Worth today. It is a 2-day trip. It's supposed to be like in the high 80s there. Today we have a whole nother step because I can't park in the terminal anymore. I have to now park in the employee lot. It's so sad.
Parking in the employee lot adds an extra half hour onto my commute time. I've had terminal parking for over 3.5 years during the pandemic, and this is the first day we've had to move back.
I just have to take the bus now to get into the terminal. So let's head in.
In addition, as of today, I'm no longer allowed to wear boots with my uniform, so I've had to switch to my Mary Janes. Needless to say, I'm feeling all the changes today.
It's 10 o'clock. It's time for me to get up. We got here at like 2 in the morning last night.
All right, let's head out. So I know I'm in this out because somebody actually held the door open for me. Dallas-Fort Worth, located about 30 miles west of Dallas, is a city in its own right. The size of Rhode Island and Connecticut combined, this city is the 13th largest in the United States. Stockyards. According to my GPS, the stockyards were only about a 30-minute walk away, but I soon realized this probably wasn't the best walk to be taking.
I don't want to go under the bridge, you guys. I'm not doing that.
So I hopped into an Uber and soon realized that I would have been walking a bit more than a half an hour. Also, I asked the Uber driver if this was a safe part of town to be walking in, and she agreed, probably not the best part of town to be walking alone.
Did it! I get to the stockyards.
In the late 1800s, Fort Worth became known as the last stop for rest and supplies, as herds of cattle were transported through here before crossing the Red River. With the arrival of the railway, Fort Worth soon became a major shipping point for livestock, and in order to capitalize, investors built what is now known as the stockyards. Over the years, the stockyards have evolved. Today, they are 98 acres now known as the National Historic District and a major tourist destination. While the stockyards pay homage to the Old West, they are also surprisingly modern. I'm not sure if I know another place where I could take a horse and buggy tour, but then get off and eat at the Shake Shack. And if you happen to forget your boots or hat, well, no worries, because there's over 50 shops here to find the perfect Western wear. In the market for a souvenir, the stockyards have you covered there as well. I couldn't believe how much stuff was in this one store. They had so many odds and ends. It was kind of overwhelming, but it was really fun to look at. Now, if you're looking for a candy shop that's barrels of fun, this one's sure to satisfy your sweet tooth. But don't spoil your supper, because at the stockyards, there are over 40 bars and restaurants to choose from. I settled on H3 Ranch, voted best steakhouse.
Really like the ambiance in here.
For lunch, I had the smoked brisket with fries. I can't imagine what the dinner portion would look like. After finishing up with lunch, I was off to explore the rest of the town. First stop, the museum.
Okay, so the museum is a no-go. There's a lot of things that you need cash for here, so make sure to bring your cash.
Want to get your picture taken on one of these longhorn bulls? Make sure to bring your cash for that as well. It'll cost you $5. But looking for something free? Watch daily as Texas cowhands bring the Old West to life when they usher these longhorn cattle through the main street. And if you're a John Wayne fan, you won't want to miss this. There's an entire complete shop filled with John Wayne memorabilia, along with a connected museum, but that will cost you a few dollars. Now my time at the stockyards was up because I wanted to make sure to get back uptown to see a few more sights. So I made my way to what Fort Worth calls the Water Gardens.
Let's go in and check it out. So you know how sometimes you go to things and you're like, what's all the fuss about? That's how I feel about this water garden.
Now, while the garden itself was a bit of a disappointment, one sight that caught my attention were these brave souls climbing into the pool. With nothing to hold onto and an array of awkward steps, I was shocked to see so many taking part. Being afraid of heights, this isn't my favorite place. I'd be more like this guy doing yoga on the lawn. Traveling throughout the US, I've come to learn that all cities have a story, but some cities are forever etched in American history. On November 22, 1963, Fort Worth is where President Kennedy would start his last day. Here, at what was once known as the Texas Hotel, is where Kennedy would give his final speech in the ballroom.
This is the ballroom that he gave his last address in.
That afternoon, he would be assassinated while riding in his motorcade 30 miles east in Dallas.
So I'm walking back to the hotel. I would love to go get a cup of coffee, but I don't see a Starbucks around here. I don't think Fort Worth is known for Starbucks. If you want a steak, this is the place to come. Ooh, guess what? I found a Starbucks. Thank you. Oh, I'm tired. That was a lot. I also Ubered a lot, so I didn't walk as much as I normally do on the layover, but you just can't in Fort Worth. I'm very grateful for this hotel. It's beautiful and it's very clean. It was loud, but I can handle loud. That's not my room. Oops. Back in my room. 2 hours before I have to be down to the van. Now I'm gonna take a nap. Night night. So I did take a little nap, and now I am having that moment in my layover where this happens like almost every single time I fly, and I thought I'd share it. At the end of it, I start to feel this feeling of, I don't know how to explain it. Is it gloom? Is it depression? I'm not really sure. Anyways, it's just in the end of my layover. Everybody's out there living, and they all have their lives, and I'm sitting here in my hotel room and I'm very isolated. I really am like thinking of this now because I have a book club meeting today and I can't go to it. I'm gonna be flying during that time. It's just weird, like in a hotel room it's so quiet, and the things that your mind can go to, it's just really depressing sometimes. So I always get out of my hotel room, I always go out. And I'm sure there's other people who have jobs where they have to leave their families or they have to leave their homes, and they feel the same way. Anyways, it just lasts for like those few hours, and then we're back to life again, I guess. Bye, Dallas, Fort Worth. All right, I'll see you guys in a few hours. I do feel like this has been a really long layover. I've been to Fort Worth multiple times on layovers, but I have to admit, in the past, this city was never very memorable for me. It would always be that one layover that I wouldn't remember the hotel or much about until I'd arrive. But it would always be a nice surprise, and like an old friend, this city and I would always pick up where we left off. But this layover changed all of that. Visiting the stockyards taught me of this city's past and what makes Fort Worth so special. And now, Fort Worth isn't just another city I've visited. It has a story. Guys, I just got home and I'm headed to bed, but thank you all so much for watching. Don't waste the sun.